Right, you join us today at Iconic Car Auctions in Silverstone. It was supposed to be in Stoneleigh, but then they've moved it at the last minute to Silverstone, and they've invited us to come along. Now, the reason we came along was primarily for this beast here. This is as rare as hen's teeth. This is the James Bond Defender. So this was a limited edition, one of 300 made worldwide, and only one of 10 sold in the UK. So look at this. So this is supposed to be after the ones used in the film, with the black ones that the baddies were driving. So they made a limited edition and it had some cool features. So we're going to look around the car now, look at the cool features. Unfortunately, it's not unlocked, but we'll have a look around the outside. We'll look at some cool features, and then we'll talk about how much it is, who would buy it, is it a good buy, is it a good investment? Right, let's crack on. So basically, this has got the V8 engine. So this is the 525 brake horsepower. You've got the Alcantara steering wheel. You've got the paddle shift. So this is the full monster V8. Right, and they did some special touches. So what makes it... so when you power up the screen, it's got a James Bond graphic that comes up. That's pretty cool. I'll put a picture of it on the screen now. And then it's got the massive 22-inch wheels. It's got the blue discs. Now, these were all standard on the V8 top of the range. So where are the little James Bond nuggets then? So let's have a look. So we've got some James Bond graphics here. Obviously, it's got the V8, the 007. And then if you open up, on the inside, it's got the limited edition James Bond sill plate. And it's also got a graphic on the end of the dashboard. I will see if I can get the keys later. I'll try and charm someone. Let's have a look. Right, so then you've got the full black interior, you've got the Alcantara. We've got a sunroof up there, we've got the sunroof, panoramic sunroof. Let's have a look, massive. So essentially though, it is just a standard car. We've got the top of the range smoke black lights. We've got the tow hooks that came on the top of the range. We've got the V8 exhaust with the quad exhaust, and it's got that naughty little valve in there that goes BAM! And I think so. There we go. He's color coded in the Defender thing there, and he's put a little graphic. Now I'm not sure if they were standard. Oh, now one thing I wanted to mention was Bowler actually did a James Bond special edition. I'll put a picture of that on the screen. And that was in many ways even cooler. It had a list of all the James Bond films on the bonnet. Have you seen that one, George?
No.
George is with me. And actually, that was really cool. So I'll put a picture of that on the screen. How you get hold of one of those, I don't know. But let's go around and have a look at the other side, and let's start to talk about price. And then what we'll do is we'll actually compare it to this one next door, which is another film-inspired special edition. And obviously the product placement in films is quite a big thing. And we'll look at this one, and we'll look at the price of this one, and the equipment level and how customized it is. Is it a better buy than this one? So let's go and have a look what we're saying here. So here it is. So this is the James Bond. He's got his 007 number plate on it, which is quite cool. So it's about their guide. I mean, not enough of these have sold to work out what the real value is. And that's the interesting thing about rare and desirable things. It's worth whatever someone's going to pay for it. Now, I'm not sure on the exact retail price. I'll check, but I think it was around 110, 120,000 pounds. And they've got a guide price here of 160, 175. I did hear rumours of one of them selling for 250,000. So, but the market's a little bit interesting at the moment. So this is up for auction tomorrow. I'm here on Friday, and this goes up for auction on Saturday. Right, so the person who bought this, you had to be like 10 were released to UK dealers, and you had to like be a good customer to get your name on this. So this guy's probably going to make some money, whoever bought that. But let's compare it. So what extra did this one have? I mean, okay, they've got some graphics, but essentially the body shell, the thing, it's got some badges, but it's not that much extra. Well, let's have a look at this limited edition. Now, this one is actually rarer because this is one of only 250 made, and this is a Lara Croft special edition. So it's obviously the Tomb Raider one, and it's got the roof rack. It's got the checker plate has come as standard. It's got this iconic badge, and this is really cool. This is a proper cast badge from the film. It also comes with the sort of rusty door hinge to give it that sort of full expedition look. actually, I think that's a standard feature. But it's got the correct wheels, it's mint, and this has got 34,000 miles on the clock. So look at that, you've got the extra seats in the back, you've got the checker plate, you've got the rear bumper, you've got the rear, you've got the full roll cage. So this one, what's the guide price on this one, George? It's about 30 to 40,000 pounds. And I think this is actually a bit of a bargain. I think this is actually a good investment. I could buy 5 of these at least for the price of the James Bond one. So there we go, that's 2 special edition Land Rovers for sale at this iconic auction at Silverstone. Let us know what you think. Which one would you buy? Okay, right, here's another car we spotted at the iconic Silverstone auction. This is an XS with super low mileage. So this has only done 5,777 miles, and it's the XS, so we'll have a look inside. It's got the lush interior. This is one of the later ones, so you've got the bonnet bulge, you know you've got the 2.5 Puma engine in this one. Like every Defender, it's got a couple of upgrades on it, so it's got the Optimil high flow, because these are normally plastic, so it's got the billet aluminium air intakes, which is quite a cool little upgrade, and it looks nice on this XS. So if we have a look on the inside, we've got the leather seats. Oh, they've locked this one. So it's got leather seats, perforated leather steering wheel. It's got the later interior, which is really nice. So let's take, oh, this was interesting. So not only do you get this lovely silver painted car, you get a spare transfer box casing and a box of spares. I think it goes with this one, not with the James Bond V8. I think that goes with this one. So what is the guide price? What do the auctioneers reckon this car is worth? Now bear in mind, it's not a special edition, it's not a film set one, it's just a very original low mileage car. And for sure it will appreciate. But they've got a guide price of 42 to 47,000. I think that's probably high in the current market. But let's have a look, what does it sell for? So here's another Defender in the auction, and this one was previously lived on the Sandringham estate, or one of the Queen's estates. And so the Queen always had her cars in the green colour, and we did see an L322 recently at the auctions that had some previous royal ownership, but that one was slightly more interesting because it still had the holes in the bonnet where the Queen used to have some horse figurine or something on her bonnet. It was very popular. But this one, we don't know that the Queen has ever driven this one, but it was certainly owned in the family. And it's an interesting question. What value do you put? We've seen some cars today that have been in, that are limited editions, but we're also some cars here that have got famous owners. And how does that affect the value of cars and their collectability? So this one, they're estimating a price between 30 and 35,000. It's got 41,000 miles. It's a pretty clean, pretty original car, but does royal ownership, just being owned by the royal estate, does that affect the value? Anyway, let's take a look. It's a fairly basic model. Apparently it was been in Spain for some years, so you can see the headlight deflectors. It's got the standard steel wheels. It's got no roof rack, no special edition. It's got the Alpine windows. There's no sunroof, but it's in a nice metallic green. There's some signs of aging that I think could have been, you could have put new catches on the windows. That's corroded. They've jammed it in the corners. Can you get the chairs with it? Don't know. Right, so here we go. We found another car. Strangely, this one is amongst supercars and Porsches. So, but this is the Heritage Edition. So this is a low mileage. It's got like 3,000 miles on it. A low mileage, one of the last old school Land Rovers they made in the factory. So this is that 110 Heritage Edition. So it had like the silver bumper, it had its own heritage grille, it was painted in this green colour, and we'll talk about that again in a minute. So this is absolutely immaculate, absolutely standard. You've got the colour-coded wheels, you've got the white roof, you've got the Hue 166 graphics, and that's followed through on the seats inside. You've got the little tag with the Hue 166. You've got the lovely sort of tweed interior. You've got a colour-coded dashboard, so it's open. So you've got the alloy pulls, you've got the alloy buttons, you've got obviously all the exposed framework inside. There's the seats, and there's the little tags on the seats, which I think is a really nice touch. And this is obviously going back to one of the first Land Rovers made that's in the Gaydon Museum, Hue 166. You've got the embroidered seats. This car is mint. Again, round the back, you've got all the original OG fittings. Rear wash wipe, and also, yeah, look at the number of seats. So you've got 2 seats in the front, 3 in the second row. and then you've got 2 in the back. So this is a 7-seater. This is a proper people carrier. So here's a question. So this Grassmere Green was what they also used on the Land Rover Defender 75th anniversary edition, and they did the wheels green, they did the side green. But question, I'll put a picture of the Defender anniversary on the screen now. Which wears Grassmere Green better? Which does it look better on? The classic one or the new one? Discuss. So one other interesting fact about this car is this car was previously owned by Rowan Atkinson, him of Mr. Bean. So does Mr. Bean owning this car previously affect its value? Let's look what the auctioneers think this is going to go for. They're saying between 65 and 80,000. Now my call on this is I think it'll go pretty much, I reckon I'm going to go 70,000. We'll see how we go on these. If I put this video up after the auction, we'll have some, see how much I know. But it's an interesting one because has the Rowan Atkinson affected the value? What would it be worth if he wasn't the previous owner of it? Right, let's look around. Right, so we're at this auction. I've just been talking with George there off camera, and it's like this is in such good condition. George was saying, but you'd have had such cool fun in it for those 3,800 miles. But should a car like this be driven? Is the person who's going to buy this going to buy it to drive it, or is he going to buy it just to put in some aircon garage? And Defenders should be let out in the wild, really. Keeping them in captivities, not good. Let us know your views. Range Rover Classic. We're getting into the Range Rover Classics. We've got our Fire Chiefs truck that we love. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. And we need to get that out more, and we'll do some more trips in that. But this is an Overfinch. And so this is the same year. This is an F-Reg, so that should be about 1989. And this has got some monster V8 5-litre engine in it. But we were just looking around and commenting on some things. Yeah, Land Rover panel gaps have improved since the early years. Check that out. And even things like, look at the gap on the front door's quite there, but the rear door is locked down. Also, notice this. Someone thought, oh, we need an air intake. We'll go down B&Q and get an air brick. Look, and we'll stick it in the side of the car. Works a treat, oh. 1989, you've got to take, remember when you were, look at this. Cool groove, sort of duct at the bottom, spoiler at the bottom, high performance fog lights. It doesn't have the extra driving lights in the grille, which some of them did. Headlight washers, this is 1989, remember? This is cool stuff. This guy must be a bit OCD. He didn't like the asymmetric look of the Land Rover badge over here. In fact, we've still got the hole where it should be here. He likes symmetry. You've got to respect a guy who loves a bit of symmetry. We've got some Minis, bit of a deviation, but we love the Minis. We've got the Mini in the back cave in the same colour, Fiesta yellow. Is it yellow? Is it green? I don't know. But this one's a Mark 1. This needs a bit of recommissioning. It's got like wild, it's not even, I don't know, blistering all over the paint. It's got some rust on the hinges and the bottom of the door, but it is put on the market as mostly original, needing recommissioning. That's got a guide price of £7,000. It's probably not a bad buy at that. I'm going to call this one out about that. These Minis, they're hard to price. Right, and then next to it, we've got the Cooper S. This is a 970 Cooper S in tartan red with a black roof. Hasn't got the twin tanks. It's got the original Cooper S wheels that had the little holes in, the little 10-inch Diddy wheels. Look how Diddy they are. They're so cute. We love the Minis. So it's got the Motor wood rim steering wheel. It's got the dash, it's got the extras, it's got some extra dials on the dash. One of the things the Coopers had, if you look at the Speedo, it had some little gear change points where you had to change gear. It didn't have them on the normal Minis. I wonder if it's open, can we check that out? Yeah, better not. We've got the black roof, we've got that. That's pretty cool. Classic Mini front with the little overriders and the little handlebars. And then we get onto this one. Now this one is a really, really nice example. So again, we've got the Fiesta yellow, we've got the old English white roof. This one has got a guide price of 38 to 48,000. Now that's quite a wide range in price, but this one had previously sold for I think £75,000. So is the market for the classic Mini changing? Obviously there's always going to be a market for the classic Mini. Look, we've got the hubcaps, we've got the Cooper S, we've got the brocade interior followed all the way through, we've got the Speedo with the gear change, they've got the smaller steering wheel fitted. I like the little period roof aerial antenna. That's cool. Again, we haven't got the twin tanks on this one, but they've also got the original cool feature where you could, because the boot's not so big on the Mini, you could put the boot down and the number plate would hinge up. So people, you were still legal, people behind, and you could put your suitcases on the back. That was a really cool feature. This one's more of a works replica. We've got the reversing light that they had on the works cars. You've got the twin tanks. You've got the sort of keep your boot open. You've got the half roll cage. You can see it inside. They used to have the safety fast sticker that used to look really cool. The little rosette there, it hasn't got that. It's got the extended arches. And this has got the much more sort of rally-inspired Mini Light alloy wheels, which are really cool. We like this one. What's the guide price on this one, George? This is between 30 to 35, but that's got the sort of I think this was sort of a heated demisting on the screen. But yeah, it's got the works rally light, sort of Paddy Hopkirk style, with the bonnet catch and the number plate up on the bonnet. So there you go, take your pick on the Minis. Right, let's go and look at some Jaguar F Types. The last thing that's caught my eye is these two F Types. So this here is a Project 7 F Type. So this was a special edition one. They only made 80 of these. Stop. Was it? Yeah, only 80 in right-hand drive, and this is one of those. Now, these were about £130,000 new, and the guide price on this one is 110 to 130, but it's only done 70 miles. And again, that debate, he's owned it. He's not going to, whoever's bought this, he, she, whoever's bought this car, did they buy it as an investment? Did they buy it just to own it? Would have they had more fun driving it? But this was very special. So it had the V8 that we get in the SVR Range Rovers. It had the V8 engine, the same as we get in the Defenders. But they tuned it to an even crazier 565 brake horsepower rather than the 525. And they reduced the weight of it, and they put loads of these carbon fittings everywhere. So this has got loads of carbon. Let's take a look at it. Carbon splitter, stop. Carbon bonnet vents, carbon side vents, carbon sills. We've got ceramic discs with these monster calipers. Carbon mirror covers. You've got this big sort of circular racing inspired, and they were sort of inspired by the Jaguar D Type, and this is quite interesting. They decided to put this sort of Jaguar D Type hump behind the drivers, and actually I'll put a side profile of the car up on the screen now with the roof, and I think it looks awesome. It just gives a lovely, but here's an interesting thing. This is for aerodynamics and also apparently reduces wind buffering. But if you're the passenger, your hair's going to go crazy. Why is it only one? It reminds me of my Toyota Hilux I bought in Thailand, and it only had a driver's airbag. And they said, well, passenger, don't worry about them. As long as the driver's okay, that's cool. Same thing going on here, I reckon. This obviously should be illegal to have your roof up when the weather's, as long as it's not raining, it's illegal to have the roof up. This kind of looks like a bra strap or something going on here. I'm not quite sure about that, but the roof's not meant to be up, so we don't care. Right, we've got carbon. Check out the carbon rear spoiler. Check out this monstrous exhaust with, well, wild rear diffuser. So F-Type, we've got another F-Type, but what do we reckon to this one, George? What do we reckon, what are we going to shout out on the price on this one? Now, I have found one, 70 miles this has got on the clock. I found one with lower mileage, and there's actually loads of them for sale. I had a look last night. I found one with 63 kilometres, but there are some for sale in Europe for 200,000 euros plus. So I think this would be a fairly good investment. But actually, just buy it for 130,000. I'm going to call 130,000. Buy it and drive it. Take it down to the south of France. Enjoy this one. Don't leave it cooped up. This one's a little bit boy racery for you. Then we've got this one here, which has still got the V8. It's not fully tuned to the 565 brake horsepower. It's quite a retro colour. If it was me, I would love this colour on this car with the white circles on the door and the D-Type inspired rear lump. I think that would be my favourite. But obviously this is not the convertible, so a much more practical car. So they've got a guide, they've got 32 miles, they've got a guide price of 90 to 110,000. I'm going to call this one at like 80,000. So we'll try and get the results from the auctioneer when it goes. So again, right, that summarises our video for today. Hope you've enjoyed looking around some of the cars. There's some Fords and loads of stuff here. But Iconic Car Auctions, check out their website. They have auctions throughout the year at various venues. So good luck. I hope you enjoyed the video.